welcome to Sphere Finance. I am Price Time, and you're watching Sphere TV. On October 27th, Sim sat down with Jesse and Matthew on a live podcast with the Obsidian Council to discuss all things Sphere. In this video, I will summarize the main points that were discussed and the alpha that was dropped. But if you are interested in hearing the full discussion, a link to the recording will be in the description. The vision of Sphere is to have one token, VE Sphere, at the center of an entire ecosystem of valuable and revenue-generating cryptocurrency projects. Projects that aim to appeal to all users by improving capital efficiency within the crypto markets. Over the long term, by simply being a Sphere holder, you will gain exposure to these ecosystem projects and, through VE Sphere, will be able to receive revenue from them without having to individually use each project yourself. In this way, VE Sphere is a means of gaining exposure to multiple projects and diversifying a crypto portfolio using just one token, similar to how the S&P 500 is a way to easily diversify a stock portfolio. You can also think of VE Sphere as the meta-governance kingpin of DeFi, because the revenue VE Sphere holders receive from the ecosystem will consist of an expanding basket of governance tokens. For example, the Sphere Treasury is a holder of Tetu, and Tetu is a holder of Chi and Bal. Therefore, by proxy, Sphere also has governance over Chi and Bal thanks to its Tetu holdings. That governance power and more will then be passed on to VE Sphere holders. So, the Sphere Treasury will gradually be expanding its reach within DeFi, bringing its ecosystem parts together synergistically and working together with more and more partners to exponentially increase the significance of VE Sphere, not to mention all the while making Sphere more scarce thanks to a portion of ecosystem revenue always going towards buying and burning the Sphere token. Now that you have a better understanding of the vision of Sphere, let's take a look at the ecosystem. You may already be aware of Penrose and Unknown, yield aggregators for Dystopia on the Polygon network and Cone on the BNB chain, respectively. Penrose and Unknown will soon receive updates that will then set them as ready to be further built out cross-chain. Several major chains are already in discussion to have these foundational liquidity services built within them. Going hand in hand with liquidity services is yield farming. Dyson will be an exciting new arm within the Sphere ecosystem, operating as a multi-chain yield maximizer that will automate various complicated yield farming strategies, making maximized and efficient yield farming easily accessible to all users. Dyson will consist of both traditional and exotic strategies. You may be familiar with traditional compounding. For example, with an auto compounder, you can deposit an LP to earn more of that LP automatically. Behind the scenes, the protocol takes the swap fees and protocol tokens you are earning, sells them for more of your deposited LP, and deposits that new LP back into the strategy. Already, this introduces capital efficiency, because if this were to be done manually, it would require multiple transactions, all costing gas fees. By using an auto compounder, not only are your yields maximized because you are constantly compounding, but also the gas fees are socialized throughout the entire Dyson platform, granting you a higher margin of yield. In addition to these traditional strategies, Dyson will also consist of exotic strategies. With exotic strategies, you can still deposit a token to automatically earn more of that token, but behind the scenes, there are additional steps that allow you to receive higher yields. Essentially, instead of using your initial yield to compound, Dyson will take that initial yield and invest it into a different strategy that has a higher return. It will then use the yield of that higher returning strategy to compound your initial token. This is a more complicated yield-on-yield strategy, but the end result is accelerated returns on your token. And the best part is that for you, it is still as easy as deposit and earn. More of these types of new, sophisticated, and niche strategies will be added to Dyson over time, making it the next generation auto-compounding yield maximizer of DeFi. For those of you wondering, Dyson will not have its own token. Rather, performance fees from Dyson will be directed into buying and burning Sphere. This means that Spherians can both earn yield and support the Sphere ecosystem at the same time by simply using Dyson to yield farm. Additionally, if in the future governance is needed for Dyson, voting will be done through Sphere v3. With Sphere v3, Spherians will be able to lock Sphere tokens as VE or vote escrowed Sphere for an estimated maximum of 1 year. This will be locked as a weighted LP, for example, 80% Sphere and 20% USD Plus or ST-Matic. In exchange, VE Sphere holders gain the meta-governance power of the expanding Sphere Treasury and earn revenue from the basket of assets held within the growing Sphere ecosystem. What's more is that this revenue will come in the form of blue-chip crypto tokens, stablecoins, and others, and will be distributed to VE Sphere holders as Dyson LPs. This will allow for yield farming of VE Sphere earnings for capital efficiency, meaning that VE Sphere holders will not need to worry about constantly claiming their ecosystem earnings because that yield will itself automatically be compounding through Dyson. So VE Sphere will bring real, sustainable yield and utility to DeFi. Pair that with Sphere's growing ecosystem and community and an ever-shrinking token supply, and the vision of Sphere finance starts to become more clear. With meta-governance voting rights of VE Sphere holders comes bribe revenue, which will be optimized thanks to Covenant. Covenant is a Sphere project that aims to become the de facto voting platform of DeFi, and it will be able to achieve this because it will improve the efficiency of bribes for bribers and voters alike. Covenant has partnered with the UMA project, an oracle built for Web3. As an oracle, UMA will be able to verifiably establish honest, accurate, and profitable bribing. This will ensure that bribers do not overpay for votes, a key and revolutionary element that Covenant brings to DeFi in the spirit of capital efficiency. What's more, Covenant's performance fees will accumulate governance tokens from the projects that use its services to further grow the Sphere Treasury and therefore expand the governance power of VE Sphere holders. Covenant will then have a section for VE Sphere voting, making it possible for VE Sphere holders to earn bribe revenue for their increasingly concentrated voting power. Thanks to its cost effectiveness for bribers, Covenant has already caught the attention of other protocols. For example, Polygon itself has chosen Covenant as a distribution system for a total of $15 million of Matic to be rewarded to the on-chain verifiably best Uniswap v3 active liquidity managers. As a quick background, Uniswap v2 LPs only earned fees on a small portion of deposited capital. Uniswap v3 will instead concentrate capital within custom price ranges, resulting in a higher degree of capital efficiency. Basically, Uniswap v3 will be highly efficient, but liquidity providers will have to actively modify their LP if they want to follow along with the fluid price range that generates the highest swap volume and therefore generates the highest swap fee revenue. Thankfully, active liquidity managers will help automate this process. All that is to say that Polygon has chosen Covenant as the distributor of that $15 million of liquidity mining Matic incentives to the very best Uniswap v3 active liquidity managers. If that does not tell you the potential of Covenant, I'm not sure what will. And if that wasn't interesting enough for the Sphere ecosystem, Sphere is building two different systems, Prion and Sphere Lend, that will allow for borrowing and lending of crypto with greater capital efficiency. Prion will be a cross-margin lending protocol that will allow users to put their crypto up as collateral to borrow the Prion stablecoin at 0% interest, while simultaneously yield farming their collateral. Interestingly, using financial services that charge interest is against certain religions. Prion will open the door to these individuals to enter the DeFi space. Prion will also open the door to expand the number of possible strategies within the Sphere ecosystem. For example, a user could put their WMatic up as collateral to borrow the Prion stablecoin, while simultaneously earning yield from Prion farming that collateralized WMatic. In addition to its own stablecoin, Prion will also have its own governance token, VE Prion. Prion's performance fees will be distributed to VE Prion holders. The Sphere Treasury will hold a significant amount of VE Prion, allowing that portion of Prion's performance fees to be distributed to VE Sphere holders and/or used to buy and burn the Sphere token. Various crypto blockchains are excited about Prion, and so are we here at Sphere. I hope that you are excited too. Now, in the same general realm, Sphere Lend is a name for a new arm of Sphere. Users will be able to lend their stablecoins to other users who wish to put their more volatile assets up as collateral, with interest being paid to the lender from the yield farming of that collateral. For example, a user could lend $1,000 worth of USDC to another user who put up $1,400 of wrapped ETH as collateral. Sphere Lend would then yield farm that $1,400 of wrapped ETH and pay the yield as USDC to the user who had lent the stablecoins. In this way, the stablecoin lender gets to earn yield from a greater valued volatile asset. Similar to Dyson, Sphere Lend will not have its own token and will instead be under the governance of VE Sphere. That also means that Sphere Lend's performance fees will go to VE Sphere holders and/or to buying and burning the Sphere token. Now, I know that these are a lot of seemingly disjointed parts, but rest assured that the vision of Sphere is that of a synergistic ecosystem under one Sphere umbrella. Think of it this way: with the launch of Prion, Prion will need to incentivize its liquidity. Rather than use Treasury funds to bribe liquidity, Sphere can use its voting power to incentivize Prion's liquidity in Dystopia via Penrose. If the launch of Prion is successful, that will mean more swap revenue for Dystopia, which will generate more revenue for Penrose, and therefore more revenue for Sphere. This allows VE Sphere holders to gain an increase in governance power over time, plus an increase in the value of those governance tokens as the ecosystem gains more and more traction. This synergy will mean that it will only take one large success to kickstart the entire ecosystem. This is what is referred to as the flywheel effect. VE Sphere holders will enjoy the results of that flywheel effect. They will also gain the added benefit of potential early access to experimental Sphere projects. For example, within Dyson, Sphere built the first automated strategy for Uniswap v3 that is completely on-chain in a decentralized manner, making Dyson eligible to compete for the very same $15 million liquidity mining incentives from Polygon via Covenant mentioned earlier. In recent testing, this Dyson strategy yielded a staggering 103% APR for a WMATIC WETH LP during the time frame being tested. Now, we know that this bear market has been challenging, and feeling the change in pace of Sphere has been difficult for many as we bunker down into a compound and build mode. But as you can tell, we have been hard at work for Sphere holders. The Sphere Treasury has also been hard at work. Thanks to its yield-bearing strategies, the Sphere Treasury has been able to compound its yield, buy and burn Sphere tokens, and pay the entire Sphere team. In fact, Sphere is hiring to expand its team thanks to the performance of the Treasury. If you are interested in joining the Sphere team, head to sphere.finance/careers to view open positions and apply. The Treasury has also been able to yield farm the MATIC that it had set aside from Sphere's initial liquidity. In the midst of the bear market, the Sphere community had decided to transition from MATIC to USD Plus within Sphere's liquidity pairing to reduce the price volatility of Sphere. This also came with a temporary downsizing of Sphere's liquidity in order to yield farm the liquidity pool's supply of MATIC. Believe it or not, thanks to this move, Sphere has already doubled its MATIC's US dollar value from 1.6 million to 3.23 million. That revenue can be injected into liquidity and or continue to be farmed. Either way, it benefits Sphere and demonstrates the strong performance of the Sphere Treasury despite this bear market. This podcast covered a wide range of sometimes complicated topics. Dyson, VE Sphere, Covenant, Prion, and Sphere Lend is a lot to digest. But never fear, I will continue to create educational videos about the Sphere ecosystem, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications when new videos are released. You can also stay up to date on announcements or contact us through the Sphere Finance Discord. Check the description below for official links. Additionally, you can leave us a comment below and we will do our best to help. After all, this video and channel is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. Shout out to Cato for his helpful Medium article, which is also linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and always remember that you matter for who you are. Which will generate more revenue for Penrose and therefore more revenue for Sphere.